Have you ever heard of a book so mysterious and controversial that it was deliberately erased from history and excluded from the Holy Scriptures? A text that retells biblical events from a hidden perspective, revealing secrets about fallen angels, a forgotten divine calendar, and an alternative chronology of the world's creation? This book is not a myth, it is real. Its name is the Book of Jubilees, one of the most mysterious ancient texts rejected by religious authorities and kept away from public knowledge for centuries. But the burning question is, why? What is inside this book that made it so dangerous? Does it contain truths that they didn't want us to know? Or was its exclusion a way to shape the course of human history? Today, we are diving deep into this mystery to uncover why this book was banned and hidden from the world. The Book of Jubilees is one of the oldest religious texts ever discovered, dating back over 2,000 years. Fragments of it were found among the Dead Sea Scrolls, a collection of ancient writings preserved in desert caves and protected by a mysterious group known as the Essenes. But before we explore what this book reveals, we need to understand something essential. The Bible hasn't always included the same books we know today. Many people believe that the Holy Scriptures have been passed down unchanged through the centuries, but the truth is far more complex. Throughout history, religious councils selected, removed, and rearranged the texts considered sacred. Some were accepted, others were rejected, and some completely disappeared, labeled as heretical, dangerous, or apocryphal. The Book of Jubilees is one of these forgotten texts. Even though it was widely respected by certain ancient religious groups, it was excluded from both the Jewish and early Christian canons. But what makes this book so controversial? To understand its exclusion, we need to examine its content. The Book of Jubilees claims to be a divine revelation given to Moses on Mount Sinai, the same place where he supposedly received the Ten Commandments. However, unlike the traditional biblical narrative, it provides a different and more detailed version of creation and human history, with information that challenges mainstream beliefs. One of the most shocking revelations in the Book of Jubilees is its unique chronology. It states that God organized all of history into cycles of 49 years, known as Jubilees. This system suggests that major events happened according to a hidden, divine calendar, completely different from the one we use today. If this is true, it could mean that our sacred timeline has been altered over the centuries, a revelation that could change everything we thought we knew about biblical history. But perhaps the most controversial part of the Book of Jubilees is its explanation of fallen angels. It describes how in ancient times, angels known as the Watchers came down to earth and had children with human women, creating a race of giants called the Nephilim. This story is also mentioned in the Book of Enoch, another banned text, and suggests that these fallen angels taught forbidden knowledge to humanity, such as astrology, warfare, and magic. Their influence was so catastrophic that, according to the book, God decided to wipe out humanity with the Great Flood, allowing only Noah and his family to survive. And here's where it gets even more disturbing. The Book of Jubilees claims that even after the flood, the spirits of these fallen angels remained on earth, continuing to influence and corrupt mankind. This could explain why the battle between good and evil never truly ended, and why certain teachings were deliberately erased from history. Beyond these revelations, the Book of Jubilees also promotes a solar calendar of 364 days, which is completely different from the lunar calendar used in traditional Judaism. Some scholars believe this solar calendar was the original divine system, but it was later suppressed and forgotten. If this theory is correct, then all religious festivals we celebrate today could be misaligned with the true sacred timeline. A discovery that could change our entire understanding of biblical tradition. But if the Book of Jubilees contained such groundbreaking revelations, why was it banned? The answer may lie in events that took place after the destruction of the Second Temple of Jerusalem. In the late 1st century AD, a group of rabbis gathered at the Council of Jamnia to decide which texts would be included in the Tanakh, the Hebrew Bible. The Book of Jubilees was rejected, likely because of its ties to the Essenes and its solar calendar, which conflicted with the official Jewish system. Later, when Christianity began to spread, the Church also decided which books would be part of the New Testament and which texts should be left out. The Book of Jubilees was excluded once again, possibly because it contained elements that contradicted emerging Christian theology. Over time, this book disappeared from Western religious traditions, surviving only in a few Ethiopian versions of the Old Testament. But in the 20th century, with the discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Book of Jubilees resurfaced. Many researchers now believe it may contain fragments of a lost tradition, capable of shedding new light on biblical mysteries and the history of humanity. And now comes the biggest question. Was the Book of Jubilees excluded because it wasn't truly inspired by God? Or was it removed to prevent certain secrets from being revealed to humanity? And if this book was hidden, how many other sacred texts have also been erased from history? What secrets are still buried? If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about forbidden books, lost texts, and ancient mysteries, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any upcoming content. And now, I want to hear from you. Do you think the Book of Jubilees should have been included in the Bible? Let me know in the comments. See you in the next mystery.